Guys, it's 4 o'clock. Let's get hype! Louder!
Yeah.
If you have a teenage daughter, they're going to go nuts that your face is on that.
Hey.
Hi, everyone. How are you? Happy Web Summit. Learning stuff? Cool. So I'm excited to be here. My name is Mamrie Hart with a long A. And thank you. Based on this tiny notebook, I guess I'm supposed to be moderating this, but I've never done that. And I'm on very little sleep. Freaking out about my country. So I think we're just going to kind of have a conversation about social media. To introduce myself, I have a YouTube channel called You Deserve a Drink, 1.2 million subscribers. I wrote a New York Times best-selling book by the same name, and I've written a couple of movies. And these guys are about to blow that out of the water. Y'all introduce yourselves.
What's up? I'm Jake Paul. I'm the CEO of Teamdom, which is a modern-day media conglomerate. I'm an actor, Disney Channel, Bizarre Vark, and have like 17 million total followers. That's it.
Wow.
Beat that.
Okay, so my name is Alfie Deyes. I have a YouTube channel called Pointless Blog, and I film every day of my life on this little camera and upload it the following day. And yeah, I think totally I've had like 1.8 billion views on YouTube alone. Sold 500,000 books, and yeah, just enjoyed it.
Okay, so right now there's like, yes, I know, it's quite an accomplishment. The numbers are like ridiculous right now, but why did you start doing YouTube? Because you started when you were really young, right?
Yeah, I started when I was 15. Like I used to just watch all the cat videos, dog videos, but I did also used to watch other people who used to regularly make content, and it wasn't like a popular thing back then. So I started making videos in my bedroom with my family, little holiday camera, put it on a stack of books, told none of my friends, none of my family, and it just gradually grew and grew and grew, and I've been doing it for 7 years now. So,
was your family freaked out when they found out that you'd been uploading videos from your bedroom?
I used to film when they weren't in, so they wouldn't think I was talking to myself. But one time I went to the cinema with my friends. This was when I had 3,000 followers on YouTube. And 3 boys came over and they were like, "Can we get a picture?" And all my friends didn't know. And I was like, oh my gosh, what do I say?
How do you break it to them?
So I just said, "Oh, can you guys tell my friends what I do?" And I let them explain it. But yeah, it's just been growing slowly and steadily ever since.
What about you, Jake?
Yeah, so I started creating content when I was 10 years old and started uploading it to YouTube. Never really found an audience, but my friends thought I was funny from Cleveland, Ohio, so there was nothing else to do besides make videos. And then the platform Vine came out, where I kind of like found my home and really exploded on the platform Vine. And from there, it like transgressed into other platforms, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook. Just started like YouTube, like these guys, super awesome platforms, and just been making content since I was 10. I'm 19 now, so it's kind of just always been something.
You've been working half your life.
Exactly.
You got to be tired.
I'm tired, man.
10, I was just playing spin the bottle and like hanging out in my yard like a regular kid. But when we all started, and we started on YouTube, there really wasn't a lot more social media happening. And now there's so many different platforms. So where's your focus at currently? I mean, I'm sorry, R.I.P. Vine.
Yes, rest in peace, Vine. So I think we all saw the transgression of Vine over the past year, and I actually didn't even post on it for like about 6 months, and then got an article texted to me from one of my friends saying that Vine was dying, and basically it was just like awaiting that text. You know, we all saw it going downhill, and so like when the Viners saw this happening, we, you know, moved our audience over to different platforms. For me, it was Facebook and Instagram that I was most excited about, and so for me, those are my 2 focuses right now, and just creating like short comedy skits and developing like and taking cool pictures of my life and like posting them online.
So videos on Facebook.
Yeah.
Are you doing Facebook Live stuff a lot?
Not a ton of Facebook Live, which is an interesting question because I think
Thank you. I'm a moderator.
Hey. I think there's this like stigma around Facebook Live because of like what the hype that Mark Zuckerberg is like creating around it. But I just like don't find it all that interesting because I think it's hard to keep an audience entertained. You know, for an extended period of time, especially live. If you look at all the big live events, there's millions of dollars of budgets put into them, and they're like award shows. And so for you to live stream from your home, it's like I think it's hard to keep an audience like super entertaining, create the best content possible for them when I can just shoot a video on my own, edit it, make it perfect, and post it up. And it's something that is more shareable and shorter, and you know, arguably more entertaining.
Okay, but you use Facebook a lot.
Yeah, I use everything. I kind of see the different social medias as kind of almost like I'm a puzzle. So if you want to see what I do every single day, then you follow me on YouTube. If you want to see pictures of me, then you follow me on Instagram. If you want to see what I'm doing right now, then you follow me on Snapchat. If you want to see what I'm thinking, you follow me on Twitter. And it's kind of like a different part. I try and give like a different part of me to each different social media.
That sounds exhausting. Is there parts you don't give on social media?
Not really, no.
Yeah. Figure so. Okay, well, talking about the different platforms, we got to talk about brand deals, obviously, because when you build this type of audience, brand deals start coming your way, and you start to have to learn how to curate them and like what to choose, et cetera, et cetera. So are there certain platforms you like to put branded stuff on, and then others you keep kind of pure? Or what's your take currently with brand deals and all the different ways they can be dispersed?
Yeah, so I think there's like a ton of different ways to work with brands, and when I'm working with a brand, I think, you know, where does this brand have a strong presence, and if that overlaps with like my presence on a platform, then I think that's the best platform to do it on. But if they want a video, I say like, hey, we should do it on Facebook. If they want a picture, it makes the most sense to put it on Instagram. And similar to what Alfie was saying is like the different platforms have a different niche, and so depending on like what the brand wants to do, that's typically the platform that you know, you do the advertisement on. Personally, my favorite and where I think the best ROIs come from is from Instagram. I just think it's like a huge audience that's super active and really cares about like what you're doing. So my favorite way to work with brands is on Instagram.
I also feel that it's the same bang for the buck, but since it's not verbal, since it's just a picture, it just feels more organic. Like I feel less pushback on blatant brand deals on Instagram than if you're selling it in a video.
I think it'd be different just because I do the daily stuff.
Yeah,
so I
totally.
film what I'm doing all day, every single day, and I upload like a between 20 minutes or half an hour video every evening. So when I work with a brand, I try every month or every year to work with less and less and less brands, and just try and really work with a few that really fit me and my morals and what I'm doing. And I reckon I probably turn down like 98% of brand opportunities I get offered, and just make sure that I'm choosing the right ones for me and for my audience. And if I'm choosing the right ones, then I don't really mind what platform I'm working with them on, because I know that their message, like I worked with Direct Line, a car insurance company recently, and they taught me how to drive, and I did like a 4-day driving intensive course, and it was like a challenge to try and pass, and I did. And then I've been, over the last 3 or 4 months, been teaching everybody with an app how to drive more safely, and that's helped myself and the audience and promoted an amazing message.
Oh, wow. So you find that it's more, you'd rather do brand deals that are like extended and multiple things rather than feeling like, oh,
Yeah.
pop, here's one thing, I'm never going to talk about it again.
Yeah, I'm not really interested in stuff where it's just like, I'll pay you once, mention us. I'm more interested in, you've got a great product, I already use it, I love it, you guys need some promotion, let's make some great content, whatever platform that's on, let's team up and make some great stuff.
Yeah, I think a lot of brands like to work with influencers as like a test case to see if it's going to work, and they use like part of their experimental budget to spend on influencers. But I think like the model's shifting more to influencers becoming ambassadors, like a traditional celebrity. Like, you know, you think Nike, LeBron James has been with them since he's 19, and I think that's where we'll see the industry going is influencers partnering with these companies over a longer period of time, and I love that instead of just doing like a one-off thing, like if someone could associate like Jake Paul with X brand, I think that's more powerful over time versus me just posting once about a brand and then it kind of disappearing and never coming up again.
Same, and again, like Alfie was saying, with things you actually like I did an ambassadorship this past year with Bud Light Lime-A-Rita. As we know, I enjoy drinking very much. So it was organic to it, but it made sense to do that a few times throughout the year, like 7 or 8 Instagram
And this is a
posts.
product that you genuinely already love.
Yeah, I already had it in my fridge. Please give me another contract if you're listening. Bud Light Lime-A-Rita. Okay. All right. Keeping on the branded tip. Let's see. Let me refer to my questions. Has there been a brand deal that you feel like for brands watching, things that are too heavy-handed, like things you think didn't work because they had too many rules or too many structures rather than letting you do your own thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the time.
I mean, you don't have to name them by name, but like, you know, give them some advice.
I think it becomes too corporate. At the start, they're like, you know your audience, do you, let it happen. And so the influencer's like, great, like I'm gonna run with the wind, create my own idea. I know my audience is gonna love this. This is what's gonna work. And then you pitch those ideas, and it starts to become like, no, we can't do this. I don't want to do this, and it just becomes their campaign. And the most successful campaigns that I've worked on are just like the ones where they actually give you 100% freedom, because they're right. We do know our audience. We're communicating with them on a day-to-day basis. Alfie's posting every single day, and so I've worked with brands that have let me have full creative control and let me have like almost none. And 100% of the times, the more creative control that I have, the better ROI we both see.
And I know that all of us have worked in traditional media in different ways. You on television with the Disney show, sorry, and then Alfie with books, etc. Is that something that you feel pressured to do because of the kind of immediacy and unknown of like new media, or is it something you just legit really always wanted to write a book, always wanted to be on TV? Like, where does your alignment lie with new and old?
I think for me it's a bit different to you guys.
Yeah.
I personally don't want to do traditional at all. Like it doesn't faze me. I love making my videos. My audience love watching them, and that's what I want to do. And when I first got offered a book deal, I was like, no thanks. They were like, come on, let's do it. I was like, no thanks. Third time, I was like, okay, I will only do it if it's similar to my videos. It's stupid. It's a lot of fun. I'm in full creative control. And then we made a book, and yeah, because I had full control, similar with when you're working with a brand, it was #1 bestseller for 15 weeks. What? So it's the trust.
Hey.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, like one of my personal goals is to become, one of the path makers for these new celebrities that come up on social media and being able to transition that into traditional media. And I think the stars of the future will be 50% social, 50% traditional, doing movies and TV. And so I've always wanted to do TV, and obviously it was like my dream growing up to be on Disney Channel and say like, hey, I'm Jake Paul, you're watching Disney Channel. And I got to do that.
Made it come true.
I got to do that
Well,
last
you got
week.
to do it because of all your other platforms. It's amazing.
Yeah, and so I think becoming one of the first people to transition from social into traditional, and being able to pave that way for the new celebrities of the future, because I believe the stars of the future will come from social media, and we're starting to see it more and more.
Totally. Yeah, I feel lucky because I started doing YouTube while trying to do traditional, and then they just kind of lined up together. But it's always my goal to do movies and film, and then this has just kind of opened those doors that I couldn't kick open myself. But we were talking a little bit about this backstage, now seeing traditional celebrities trying to dip over to social, and how, if that really works, or, what do you feel about that? Moving into your territory. There's like, The Rock has a YouTube channel now, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I think to me, doesn't feel right unless that you can tell they're fully committed to it and you can tell that it's coming from their voice. You know, it's a full-time job in and of itself, and I think a lot of like traditional celebrities are kind of half committed to it. And I think that comes across. But if it's done right, obviously it's like super powerful them. And I think The Rock is a good example of someone who definitely does a good job. But I've seen in many cases where, you know, they're like, oh, this social media thing is new. I see the Kardashians are doing it. I'm gonna do it and then launch a business. And that's just really not how it works.
Yeah.
Would they just sometimes not even like sending the tweets themselves and stuff? Like the reason why all three of us have got a following that we do is because it's us. It's organic, it's real, we're doing it. We didn't start to get popular, to get, like, when I started making YouTube videos, I didn't even know it could possibly, let alone would, ever turn into my job. Like, I didn't even think I'd ever get 100 subscribers.
You never thought you'd have to take that picture at that movie theater. And there you were.
Yeah.
So what do you think, well, the name of this one is Social Media Legacy. So let's talk about your legacy. Like what really you're trying to build through social media that you'll be remembered for if you were to walk away from it.
I think for me, about a year and a half ago, I said to myself, like, hey, I want to be the Dr. Dre of this social media space.
That's so rad.
And so literally what Dr. Dre did was he became, you know, a big musician and producer himself, and then he helped others do that, like Eminem, Snoop Dogg, etc. And so for me, that's what I want to do, is be able to become massive on social media and massive in the traditional media space, and then help young creators and help them incubate their careers, and then launch ancillary businesses around that. And I think that is like the model that a lot of creators will follow in the future.
Yeah, because, I mean, speak, if you will, a little bit about what you've been doing with YouTube and building out the 10.
Yeah, so basically, part of what my company does is incubate talent, and we find people who we believe have a huge potential, not only on social media, but to use their social media presence to become traditional media famous. And so we'll find someone, help them grow their presence on social, help them create content, help them develop a voice and a brand, and use our network to help launch them and grow their following. And then from there, if they're an actor, they can, you know, dive into some movies. If they're a musician, they can go sign with a label and start releasing songs or whatever it might be.
That is so Dre.
Dre.
That is super Dre. And Alfie, since you are pretty like purely YouTube and social, and I know you're doing the books, but like you said, like you don't really have any desire to get into TV and movies. Like where do you see your path? I know this is such a guidance counselor question, but like in 5 years, you know, are you going to be the person who maintained vlogging for all those years, or where do you see it go?
Yeah, I think I like just everything is changing so quickly. Like every 3 months, something completely different is happening. That's how I always see it. And I kind of just am enjoying what I'm doing so much right now that I just want to carry on evolving and just seeing what happens and moving along with things. But just hopefully just create a really positive, friendly community of people that watch my videos and make the world smaller by connecting everyone.
Mm-hmm. And then taking that huge following and be able to work with brands, et cetera, and develop those relationships so that, you know, down the road when you're 75, you don't have to edit every night. But, although I would love to watch that show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alfie, in the older
Just
years.
for you.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Well, thanks so much for listening to us talk. This has been fun.
Yes.
Yeah, I hope
Thank you, guys.
learned something about
I'm sure
brands,
it's a little bit
et cetera.
different than the other talks.
Yeah, a little bit. Great. Enjoy the rest of your web summit.
Thank you so much.
Peace.